Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast with Alana Brophy. Weather rates certified 11 years in a row.
What a day in the weather world with all of that wind. We start with that strong southerly flow pushing the flag here at the ABC4 studios. But look at that layer of haze and dust. We're pushing that from the West Desert throughout the Wasatch Front and really statewide. These strong winds posing a problem, and they're going to linger as we head into a holiday weekend. We've got above average heat. We're ending the work week with very hot conditions. Our warnings have been extended and expanded in places. I'll walk you through them. Those whipping winds don't want to give up. And what about thunderstorm activity? If you're heading out with Dad for the weekend, I'm going to show you exactly where, the timeline, and what to expect. 103 in St. George. It's 100 degrees in Salt Lake City, our third triple-digit day of the season. Last year we had 21, which tied the record, but we averaged 4. It's not even officially summer yet, folks. The solstice next week, 90s on the eastern side of the state and the I-15 corridor. So the heat is on, and we know it wants to stay, but it won't. Dusty view here from southeastern Utah of Monument Valley. You can see the layer of haze, so winds cranking throughout the state from north to south, with our highest gusts in Salt Lake hitting 45 miles per hour. Look at Milford. Cedar City, just relentless. Moab with 33 miles per hour down that I-15 corridor, and over I-80, very strong crosswinds. That's a problem with that fire burning. We've got a high wind warning in effect for Tooele County, so any fire start can easily spread. That high wind warning has been extended. It holds until 10 p.m. tomorrow night and now includes the Salt Lake Valley. So we know our populated areas dealing with gusty conditions. The wind advisory you see in tan from northern Utah over to the Swell, St. Pete and Sevier Valleys and down south, that also has been extended until tomorrow night. So wind, big headline as we make it through, and tomorrow that fire threat becomes even more widespread. That critical danger pushes a little closer to our metro areas, and that elevated risk extends all the way over into the Uinta Basin. That's why that red flag warning will hold on. We do have an approaching system and an area of high pressure over to our east. Storms out there on the eastern side of the state. We knew that would be the case, so we're keeping our eye on those. First day of our monsoon push there, and that's going to continue as we make it through the weekend. As we look at storm tracker radar in and around Castle Country, over I-70 and towards the basin, we get echoes of moisture. Not all of that is hitting the ground, so we have very blustery outflow winds. As a result, some of those could be dry thunderstorms, so we know that's something to keep in mind if you're going to be camping on the eastern side of the state. We do have flash flood potential in many areas that we love to visit, and that is for today. Now, Zion's not part of this where the winds are cranking, but Bryce, Capitol Reef, Canyonlands, Arches, it's a possibility, and that storm threat doesn't go away for the weekend, so flash flood potential will be there. Futurecast showing you how those storms move from south to north. That's really the flow of the clouds as well. By tomorrow afternoon, they're popping up Castle Country, backside of the Wasatch towards southwestern Wyoming, but they creep a little further into central Utah. The Wasatch Front has a chance of a thunderstorm for the next several days, so just know that as we get through. Model really likes it on the state line as we head into Sunday afternoon. A cold front's going to come through and open the door for cooler air, and yeah, the model wants to bring a little spotty activity. You see the cloud cover by Monday. Next week, we're going to be significantly cooler than where we are today, but we rode that roller coaster already this week. Repeat performance around the corner. 80s and 90s for tomorrow, cooling into the low 90s. I know, I use that lightly. 93 in Moab, 80s for the I-15 corridor, 90s in St. George. Where the wind is blowing, expect hazy skies because that blowing dust doesn't want to give up, and we're going to see those storms on the eastern side of the state. Here's a check on the next 7 in Washington County, where yes, we back off of the heat because this wind actually cools in St. George. It's an upslope. Father's Day in the upper 80s with windy conditions, blowing dust for tomorrow. Starting summer on Tuesday, warming things up next week. Father's Day forecast for the weekend throughout the state. Take a good look. A decline in temperatures as we get through the next couple of days. Winds and the possibility of storms, the overall story. So eyes to the skies and be careful. Extra tent pegs if you're braving the conditions. Chance of an isolated storm Saturday and Sunday for the Wasatch Front. We get cooler temperatures as we kick off next week, but notice that warming trend as we head towards the solstice. We get into the 90s by Wednesday with quieter conditions. To stay on top of the forecast, which you should do this weekend, with critical fire concerns, download that ABC4 weather app. It's really easy to do. Take a picture of this QR code, take it to the App Store. You can download for free, and then we can be there for you.